We welcome you in on this mini bye weekend for the Philadelphia Eagles. It's our weekly one-on-one with head coach Doug Pederson, presented by Wawa. I'm Eagles insider Dave Spadaro. Congratulations, coach, on a week one win in a most unusual game. Take me into the locker room before the game with the delay and what was happening behind the scenes.
Yeah, so obviously we were on the field for pregame warm-ups, and Don Smolenski, our president, came basically charging across the field at me and says, "Hey, we got to clear the field. There's lightning, within about 7-8 miles of the stadium, and we'll just give you an update." So we went in the locker room, and I just instructed the guys to get off their feet. It was a great time to stay hydrated, get the fluids in. It was a humid night, obviously, to start. And then just kept giving them updates, and we eventually got them up on their feet and got them through a little stretching routine with Josh Hanks, our strength conditioning coach, and then again, once we got them back on the field, just warmed them up and got ready. So I thought our guys handled it extremely well. Obviously it comes down to communication and the dialogue between me and the staff and then the coaches, and it didn't seem to affect us in the football game.
You talked about all spring and summer turning the page. You actually had to turn the page in the course of a night. So again, it does go back to the leadership and the guys just kind of being able to focus in.
Yeah, and we knew going into this football game there was going to be a lot of distractions, and with the pregame and sort of reliving the Super Bowl and all that, and I think it's great, and obviously need to continue to remember that. But at the same time, my focus was to get the team prepared and focused on the Atlanta Falcons, so it was a little bit of a sluggish start, obviously, offensively. I thought defense came out and played extremely well, early, shutting Atlanta down on the goal line and several times throughout the game, in the red zone, until the offense could get on track. They're really about midway through the third quarter and eventually scoring a couple touchdowns late in the game. But, I thought the leadership of the team really came through. There was no panic again on the sideline. I learned a lot about the resiliency of this football team. Our feet were kind of touching the fire, so to speak, and guys bounced back, did a nice job.
I do have an issue, though, Doug. You said back in March that Philly was retired, and
Philly Special is retired.
Philly Special is retired. Yeah.
How
many iterations of Philly? What do we have?
I don't know what we're going to call it next time. I was watching, a show over the weekend, and they were talking about Rocky 1, Rocky 2, Rocky 3. So
the sequels.
Maybe we have to use some of those terms next.
Why'd you call it?
Quite honestly, it was third and 5, I believe, and it was a play we had worked during the week. It was in our 3rd and 5 menu, and I was just looking for a spark at the time and just trying to ignite the offense. And I think there was an injury timeout, and so Nick came over to the sideline, and I discussed a couple plays, and then bottom line was my play. My thought was Philly, and he agreed, and Nelson did a great job of getting him the football, and just another well-executed play. So we needed a spark at that time to get our offense going. Ultimately, he went down and scored the touchdown.
What makes you want to go in the spark realm, no huddle, for example? Because I kind of expected to see that. You did it on the touchdown drive early, and then we didn't really see it the rest of the night.
Well, we did it in the first half, and we had like a 14 or 15 play drive that stalled. I think we ended up kicking the field goal
drive.
Yeah,
right, okay.
Yeah, it stalled in the red zone. We kicked the field goal, got 3 points to tie it up. I was watching the Falcons on defense. And one of the things I was really proud of our guys was, I think, is our conditioning. The fact that we were a little bit better, in shape, I think, in this game. Plus, it was hot and humid, and our guys handled that extremely well. And I noticed the hands on the hips, guys were bent over just a little bit, and so I wanted to put a little pressure on the defense and went a little hurry up and had some success running the football in those situations, and just from time to time we'll do that, and plus that's another way to get our offense sort of going just a little bit, gets your quarterback into a rhythm if you get some nice quick throws, but you get your offensive line going, and again, we kick the field goal to tie the game.
Doug, from day one, you have been very consistent sticking with the run game. Why is this so important to you?
Well, number one, I think I got the best offensive line in football, and number two, I think I've got the best running back group in the National Football League. And I would say number three, we got quarterbacks when we do the RPO game, and even in the run game where we're doing some checks, from strong to weak to strong of the formation. They're smart and they understand it. So, and all of that put in the package. I just feel like our guys are going to eventually wear down maybe an offense or a defensive line or our opponents, each week, and they were successful in doing that. And you saw some bigger chunk runs in the second half being pulled off because of that.
As you watched the film on Friday morning after that very late ending to the game on Thursday night, what did you see from the defense? Kind of some particulars that really stood out to you.
Again, the speed of the defense stood out. A defensive line getting pressure on Matt Ryan all night long, really. And then in the secondary, Julio was pretty much their offense, but he's a tremendous athlete, tremendous receiver, and he's going to get his yards. But I thought that the secondary really sort of battened down their receivers, and there were not many places for him to go with the football, especially in the red zone. So, those things. I thought our linebacking core really showed up in the game. Camus made a tremendous play on the 4th and goal,
Yep.
For a loss. Tackle for loss. So there were a lot of bright spots. Things we got to clean up, obviously, were some of the pre-snap penalties. We lined up off sides. We extended some drives, not only defensively but also in the special teams. Those are things we can coach and clean up and be better.
You're banking wins in September. That's what it's all about, right?
It is, quite honestly, against a great opponent who, quite honestly, we may see if we get a chance to be, in the postseason that we might see this team again, and it's a good football team with a lot of talent.
Did you get out relatively unscathed injury-wise?
We did. We did. Yeah, we're pretty healthy coming out of this football game.
What will the 3-day weekend be like? The benefit of that for the Philadelphia Eagles players?
Well,
or beat up, right?
Well, for the players, it's 3 days of rest and just spend time with their families. They really, since training camp started, they haven't had a break, and so this will be a significant break, kind of like a mini bye for us. And coaches will work. Coaches will be in the office and get some stuff done. Be prepared for Monday, and when the players come back, we'll have a light workout, conditioning. Get in the weight room a little bit, have some meetings, and move on to Tampa.
Why do coaches always work more than players? Did you ever think that was going to be the case when you were a player?
Yeah, I did. Well, we're the ones that have to come up with the game plans and the schemes and put our players in position to be successful. And so we, there's no rest for the weary. We're right into it now. We're into the thick of it and the grind, and that's part of our job.
Feels good to be back into the grind, right? It'll be nice to actually get into a Sunday to Sunday to Sunday routine.
Yes, it'll be nice to get in that routine and get off these Thursday type games.
What do you think of Tampa Bay and as they get ready for New Orleans? What do you know about them as we stand here today?
Well, I think this is again defensively. I think it's a talented defense. They got a really good up front, front four, front seven. There's a couple guys that we currently or had recently that are currently on their roster, and so we're going to know some of their players. I think offensively, of course, they're going to miss their quarterback, and he's a big part of that offense. But they still have with Mike Evans, a receiver down there, and they still got some weapons. So. It's going to be another great opportunity for our football team. We're going to have to probably battle some heat down there. We know that. We'll have to stay extremely hydrated throughout the week. But those are all things that, especially early in the season, we expect. And just, again, look forward to the opportunity.
Coach, congrats. 1-0. Good start to the season.
Thank you, Dave.
One-on-one with Doug Pederson, presented by Wawa. Thanks for joining.